You there! Do you have a moment? Oh, thank the stars! I've got all these crates to move, you see, and I'm all by myself. If you could help me carry them down to the inn, that'd be a great help. You grab this end, and 1, 2, 3, ha! You're stronger than you look. This one, it's full of cheese, I think. You can tell by the smell, it's strong stuff. Now that Lord Bara's built the lodge, we get a lot of visitors. And now the tavern's getting a kitchen too. There's so many new faces passing through, it's hard to keep up. And on top of that, the soldiers never stop eating. They're a rowdy bunch for sure, and they're out patrolling most days now. But they never come back empty-handed. Anyway, that's far enough. Thanks for your help, and here's something for your trouble. See you in town. Bye! This is Foundation, and I am Lord Bara. Hello, and welcome back to another weekly instalment of Foundation. Last week was all about planning, and we drew up plans all over the hills. But this week, it's all about food, because I'm going to add an additional part to the Tavern monument. I want to give travellers and visitors a reason to come to Capibara, and that means giving them a place to stay. So I'm going to build the Tavern Lodge, and I'm going to build the Tavern Kitchen. And that will create some healthy tourism within the town and generate a little bit of income. I'm also still having a little bit of trouble with my coal supply, so I'll look at that first. But before that, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's made a suggestion so far on the new village name. So far I've got West Cappenfield or Cappenshire, Bara's Ridge or Bara's Overlook. So thanks to Frost and Russia for that, they have been noted. And WW76 also asked, can we get an ultimate guide for inn beer and tavern meals? Well, you're in luck. I don't think I can justify an entire video for just that one topic, so instead I'll do you one better. I'll build it right here in Capibara and I'll show you a working example instead. So now you know what my plans are, let's pop on over and get going, shall we? I've got to start here over in the industrial area. You may recall that I was having some problems with the amount of coal that I was producing. That's why I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 charcoal producers currently. That may sound like a lot, especially considering that Capibara really doesn't produce that much iron ore, but it is enough to justify 1, 2, 3, 4 iron smelters. And if I look more closely at the resource list, it becomes quite apparent that I'm simply just not producing enough coal. It says I've got 6 coal here, I've got plenty of iron ore, but I've got no iron bars and no tools, and that's bad news. As you know, tools are a big deal because if you don't have tools, you can't build anything, so I need to do something about it. I thought about putting another blacksmith down, but that really won't solve my problem. I really wish there were extension buildings or something along those lines for the charcoal makers, because I'm trying to put off putting another charcoal maker down, but let me start at the beginning. I've got 2 blacksmiths, and I've got 1, 2, 3, hang on, 4 iron smelters. Well, that's 2 to 1. On and off, they're all complaining of missing resource, and it keeps popping in and out, and you can see it there, missing resource, missing resource. It's not always clear what resource they are missing. Now, I'm pretty sure it's charcoal, even though it's not 0, but it's close to 0, so I'm just making double sure here that I'm not losing my mind. So my iron smelters are 2-to-1 blacksmith, and my charcoal makers are 2-to-1 ironsmith, except this one. This last iron smelter has no dedicated charcoal maker. So in theory, if I put 2 more charcoal makers down, that should solve my issue completely. So let's run this little experiment, shall we? I'm pretty sure that this is the problem, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to run it as a little experiment and place 2 down. And they can live outside of town because I don't really have much space in the town to place them anymore. Between you and me, I feel like the charcoal makers are a big impact on the town. Anyway, I don't want to complain too much. I'm basically moaning about making too much money. I can't just leave it there because I've only got 3 foresters. For those of you who are not aware, this area that we're looking at here is my entire area for doing forestry work. And it's very sparse right now because I've only got 3 foresters that are regrowing the whole area. So I'm going to add 1 more down because as soon as I put 2 more charcoal makers down, there'll be no trees left at all. So I better make sure that that doesn't happen. Right, now that that's grown in, let's sprinkle some villagers in and set them to work. It doesn't look too bad. In fact, it blends in quite nicely there and gives a kind of little flair at the end of the town. What I need to do now is wait and see. Now, I walked away for about 20 minutes, grabbed myself a cup of Yorkshire tea. I dread to think what would happen to me if I didn't drink tea. So let's have a closer look, and has there been an improvement? Yes indeed. Coal is up, 30 coal now. Iron ore is down, iron bars are up, and there were some additional tools. Not quite the resounding success I was hoping for, but it'll do. It also means that I'm producing more commonwares, more barrels, more candles. A lot of things rely on the coal. Did you know that there are 2 taverns to choose from when visiting Capibara? This one's the Capibara, and this one over here is the Gilded Paws. They're spread quite far apart in the town because the town covers a large area, and also the commoners are spread out. I don't really want the commoners travelling all the way over to the other side of town just to grab that beer that they need. So I've got them spread out across the town to make it easier on that, and also they are serving different types of beverages. The Gilded Paws is serving berry brew, and Capibara is serving beer. There's no reason for that, none whatsoever. It just happened like that. What I'm going to do is choose one of these taverns and then expand on it. I could expand on the Capibara, but the Capibara is in Riverside and that's quite a dense area of town. I might struggle to fit additional monument in there. So I'll probably go with the Gilded Paws, and that actually makes a lot more sense because visitors will come into this part of town. It's the original old part of town. Travellers and visitors aren't coming into the Riverside district. It's just not connected to the King's Road like that. So I think the Gilded Paws makes way more sense, and I'll definitely be able to find an area and that part of the town where I can place down the lodge and also the kitchen for the tavern. The real question is where? Where am I going to put that? I think there are a number of places that look quite promising. It looks dense, but that's what I'm going for in the overall aesthetic of the town. Here's the lodge anyway. Unfortunately, there aren't any additional build pieces for the lodge or the tavern, so you're going to be sticking to the tavern pieces that you're familiar with. I would like, in this particular instance, to have the tavern look a little bit closer to the manor, a little bit more townsy, a little bit less rustic. But I'm staying vanilla for the time being. Now, where to put this? The good thing is these large houses, they can be manipulated by simply placing a building near them. I mean, they don't get demolished or reduce their villager capacity, which is nice. And I think here at the bottom of this road, this will be ideal. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. You know me, I'm not going to do anything too flashy. I'm going to keep it simple, keep it sweet. I'll just have a long building that follows the length of this road, that backs onto the manor building there to blend it in. It'll shield the houses behind it from the street as well. And if I just adjust its height to make sure that it does fit in with the manor, I think it should be slightly bigger than the manor actually, which is nice. That bit of manor's only a watch post anyway, so they can keep an eye on the patrons if they get a bit rowdy. If I keep the door inset into the building like that, it doesn't stick out into the road, which is something I really like. And if I place a bunch of dormers on the roof line there, it'll look a lot more believable. And don't forget the chimneys, otherwise the chimney police apparently will come and get me. It's good, but it's not great. How can I use this balcony? Yes, balcony in the street. Love it. Now, perhaps if I use an end dormer. And of course, don't forget my shingles. You do get a special shingle for the lodge. It's the horse. If somebody wants to come up with a name for the lodge, feel free to drop it in the comments. As long as it's not rude, obviously. Oh well, if it is rude, but it's funny, then I might consider it. You know, something that I don't often use is the building bridge. I think that would be pretty good here. Let's try it out. Yes, I like it. Perfect. Okay, I'm happy with that if you are, so let's just get on and build it. Oh no, the building bridge is not playing nicely with the dormer. Oh well, I'll fix it later. Overall, I think that works. For those of you who are unfamiliar with how the lodge works, it's a lot like the hospitium in the monastery, except this is part of the labour estate. And the point of it is, when it's up and running, visitors will start coming to your town. That is both a blessing and a curse, depending on whether or not you're set up for it. Because visitors will take resources from you just like your villagers do. So if you already didn't have enough food or enough common wares, then you might find yourself in a bit of a pickle. So before you assign a villager to work here, make sure that you really want this. All the information you need how to run it is on the building menu that you can see here, and it doesn't take anybody special to operate it, although it's best suited to a commoner. But the more villagers that you have working here, the more visitors that you can have staying here. And obviously, if you build more, you'll be able to have more workers and therefore more people staying there. Now, all types of visitors will come to visit you once it's built. And this is where the kitchen comes in. Because some of the more picky visitors may require food from the kitchen. It might be one of their needs. And they're going to have all different kinds of needs. If they don't get fulfilled, that won't have a happiness impact, but it does mean that they won't leave a contribution. And that's the point. So I'm going to build the tavern kitchen as well. Because I am a gracious host. And to be honest with you, this brings its own set of problems, which I will talk about in a moment. The first thing I need to do now is find another location to put it. And actually, it's going to be here, I think. Last week I placed a granary here and I demolished a little bit of the castle monument, but I'm not going to demolish anything this time. I'm just going to build straight over the top of it and just nest the existing structure inside the tavern itself. Long-time players will know this is kind of a little bit of a hack, a little bit cheaty, but it's a way to get the most out of your building space. You can kind of overlap buildings and then get multiple functions within them. But I'm just going to place the tavern alongside the street here. It's not going to be too big. It's literally just going to serve a very small percentage of visitors and villagers. It's not grandiose, it's just a kitchen. The kitchen is unique. It makes a refined food called a tavern meal. There's only one type of tavern meal currently, and it's made from boar and cheese. It's unique in the sense that the villager that is employed that works here both creates and sells. That doesn't happen anywhere else to my knowledge. Tavern meals can't be traded for anything, they can only be consumed. Commoners and citizens in your village, your town, will consume it if there's no beer available, as far as I'm aware anyway. And as I said, it can be a need requirement for visitors. Boar, obviously, is not a problem, but cheese, on the other hand, cheese. If I need cheese, I'm going to need more milk. And luckily for you and me, I already have plans for cows. On this hill here. In fact, many cows. I'm going to be able to fit at least 2 dairy farms on that hill. Do I want it at the bottom of the hill or at the top of the hill? Which looks best to me? I could have them spread out like that. Or clustered in the middle like this. Sometimes I like to connect them up like this, as long as their little white arrows for their entrance and exits aren't obstructed, they work just fine. You know what, I'm going to connect them, but I'm going to put them here right on the crest of the hill. If there's going to be dairy farmers working there, it's 3 per farm, I believe. So I'm going to need a house. I'm going to need 3 houses, aren't I? Let's start with 1 and then we'll grow from there. I better parcel off these areas with some fencing, otherwise the villagers will walk all over them and create their own roads. That's worked out really well because they're kind of like on that flat on the crest of the hill, aren't they? Meanwhile, back over in the tavern kitchen, the stoves are hot and ready for work. Now those 2 dairy farms are put to work, I've got a lot more milk, and cheese is okay. It should be enough, I think, to start employing somebody and start making that tavern meal. So to kick off this whole thing, when you've built your lodge, you'll get this quest, and it'll keep popping up until you click on it, but you get the option to delay it if you want. Essentially, it's asking you, do you want to have your visitors start coming in now or not? I said yes. No time like the present. I've got cheese. And when I employ a serf in the tavern here, I'll be able to start using that cheese to make one of these meals. I don't have any visitors yet, you can see. It takes a little bit of time. And it takes some time to produce the meals as well. Obviously, it's only a serf producing them, so I don't expect a lot. Through the magic of editing, I can show you that there are some visitors here now. Simply to demonstrate that they have different needs. If I pull 2 random ones up side by side, you can see that they've got kind of, it's not a completely random selection of needs that they've got, but they're different from villagers, they're different from commoners, they have their own needs. That cheese situation is nagging me a little bit though. Let's find the cheesemaker, see what's going on. Oh, I see. Let's promote Rickhilda and increase our efficiency. What could go wrong? Thinking about it, now that I've promoted Rickhilda to a commoner, she's probably going to want to move house. I'm not entirely sure what effect that will have. We'll find out shortly, I'm sure. This is what's happened. There was obviously not enough room in the surrounding houses, and Rickhilda's decided to upgrade this one here in the middle of town. So that's going to have a knock-on effect. Other villagers are going to start moving houses. I think what I'm going to need to do here is, once this is built, I'm going to need to build or upgrade some other housing. I may have bitten off more than I can chew here. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this. It's the beauty of foundation, you see. Still, Rickhilda's getting a lovely new build, so hopefully she'll be happy. Okay, what I've decided to do is, because I've got some people who are complaining that they're homeless now, so what I've decided to do is upgrade a little bit of housing. No big problem, we can deal with this. This is where it's going to be, I think. So what I need to do is take a little bit of high fortification monument from the castle estate. I'm going to replicate what I've done over the other side there and just build a little bit of building here. And what I want is to just encourage this house, perhaps the one that's behind it, but no more. And I'll just get that influence from this bit of monument, which is high density fortification, because you need the high fortification to get the tier 3 housing. It's not a big issue. Just going to place this down here, and the house that's directly behind it, perhaps the one that's also behind that one, I don't mind, that's fine too. And then those can get influenced by that, and then they'll upgrade. It's all under control, no big problem. All I need to do is decide on the right kind of door that I want. I don't want one that creeps into the street. I'd like the idea of one of these ones that's a staircase, but I don't think I'm going to get away with it here, so I'm just going to have to go with something a little bit more run-of-the-mill and make sure that I've got the right kind of chimney on there. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go for one of these ones that's kind of on the side, a tall one. Rightio, lovely. Let's skip ahead and get this house upgraded. Oh, there's a few too many houses upgrading. 1, 2, 3, and one there as well next to the castle. Oh, I didn't want him to upgrade. That's okay. I can kind of cope with that. That'll do. Oh, except that one here as well. Oh, another one behind the trees. Oh no, I've got a few too many houses. Oh, I'm going to have to fix this. Not today though, not now. Because that's all I've got time for. On that note, I'll just say thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Don't forget to leave a comment. This has been Foundation, and I have been Lord Bara.